You want out? Want out?
You lost him. Okay, calm down. Honey, just calm down a little bit. Okay, try and go on a more leisurely walk with him, because I didn't catch any of that. You were going too fast. Just rub his belly for a second and then take him for a nicer walk. He says, you just scared the crap out of me. Why would I trust you enough to lay down? If you don't want your plastic to stretch or collapse, you have to make sure to get all the snow off. That's how you do it. Obviously, you don't want to use anything pointy. Alright, so I've got some hay in there for him, pellets, water, and then I've got some tree cuttings that I've been taking too. Alright, this is my second check. I did one check right after they were born, the second day after they were born. And only one baby didn't make it. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that was wet. Something there was wet. 8. Okay, so this mama started out with 18 her first time and 12 her last time. We gave her a much bigger rest this time than we had previously. We hadn't given her a rest before, but we gave her a rest this time. And what happens is when you give them too big of a rest, they decrease, their fertility decreases. So it's been single digits, double digits. We got 8, we had 9 born, 8 made it. These guys are significantly bigger than most of her litters have been up to this point. So if they don't have too many babies, they also will have bigger, fatter babies because they have more milk. But these guys, how old are they? A week old?
Maybe 2. Didn't you want to change the bedding?
No, it's not wet.
Damp right
Yeah,
here.
but it's not. They're not wet. So I'm not going to mess with Mama's nest. I just want to make sure we didn't have any cold babies. We didn't have any significant runts in this batch. So it might be okay that we didn't get such a large number because we have bigger babies growing faster, very able to handle the extreme cold that we're having.
And their eyes are big and open. And it's 8.6 right now.
Yeah, it's 8 degrees. And they're in an unheated greenhouse, which means it doesn't actually create warmth in the greenhouse. It just, it keeps the wind off of them. So I've covered them back up. She's eaten most of the hay out of there by now. She has a little bit of hay in the bottom. See that? So it's mostly her belly wool at this point. So let's see if it'll switch. Show us the top. There we go. 8 degrees Fahrenheit.
It was 1 this morning.
It was one degree this morning. It's beautiful outside. This is a batch of 8 babies that are fat and roly-poly and ready to start hopping out of their little nest. When they start hopping out of their nest, we will give them a different box, one that they can get in and out of much easier than this. The reason we have these clips and we clip it to the side of the cages, because these lightweight plastic boxes are so much easier to clean and keep hygienic, and they're so much cheaper. It's like, I don't know, $5, maybe $8 for this instead of $30 for a wooden one. But they're light, and so when Mama gets in and out, she can very easily tip these over. And so we learned the hard way that, especially in cold weather, we clip them in 2 places to make sure Mama can't tip them over. And the mamas really like these nests, and it just works really well. And they're starting to get ready to hop out of the nest and be running around more with Mama. And when they do, we'll give them a different kind of box to be in.
One where they can hop back.
One where they can hop back in. At this point, it's too high. If they came out of that nest accidentally, they wouldn't be able to get back in and they'd freeze. So we have to get, once the first baby comes out of that box and we find it, we switch boxes. We give them a low profile cardboard box with hay on it for them to be in this kind of weather. We might actually get them one of our boxes that has a hole on the side and hope that they do better than that. Or we might just give them a higher sided box. If it's that cold, we really don't want them coming out from the bedding. All right, there's Mama. And I always wear gloves and like long sleeves when I'm in here with the babies. I just reclipped them. She doesn't care. She's very comfortable and confident. There's her hay. There's her pellets. When we have a nursing mom, I absolutely do not let her run out of pellets. I have other things that I will add in, but she has to have food all the time. This is a concern. She dug out some of her fiber, and it's because she got hungry. Paige does chores at night, and she was in a hurry. I don't think she was really focusing, and she didn't refeed and double up on food and water for the mom. And so the mom started digging through the nest box to try and find extra hay that she had used in the nest, because if she can't keep her milk up, the babies will die. And so, what? Oh, so helpful. This is a mom that got left in with her siblings, and we sexed them repeatedly, meaning that we checked their sex to make sure we didn't have a male in there, but we did. We had a male in there. So we think she might be pregnant and maybe even due, because she had started to build herself a nest in the box when we gave it to her. This is the other box. That one has a hole in the side. We used to keep a lid on the top, but a lot of times the moms would sit on top and pee on the top of the nest when it had a lid on it, and then the babies inside would get wet, which isn't what we want. So I would like to give her some more hay here in a bit and see if she'll put it back in her nest. Paige did not feed her last night either, and so she ate the hay in her nest. So it's very, very important that your animals have food and water, especially when they're in a cage. It's one thing with the goats. If they are in a big enough space, they can go forage for food. But even then, I mean, they're caged living animals. If you don't feed them and water them, they suffer. All right, there's my chickens. They are laying again. I have a dove, which is a white leghorn. That's what we named our first one in. We can't tell the rest of them apart when we got more. So we have dove 1, dove 2, dove 3, dove 4. One of our doves lays up here under this nest, and both of the eggs had frozen. And so single digits this morning. It's 8 degrees Fahrenheit right now. It was 1 degree Fahrenheit earlier. Kitty, get out from under my feet. I'm going to accidentally step on you, and then you will be very sad. Yeah. You will be so sad if I step on you, but you keep walking under my feet. All right, we are down to mostly hostile hair cages now. We have one cage, out here that is not, and that's our buck. Oh, dang it, I was going to tell you guys. Okay, so currently I'm doing daily vlogs on my Patreon. Those of you who are interested in hearing what's happening daily, the conundrums I'm trying to solve. Okay, so we sold our big black mama because she was getting old enough that we wanted to have a more productive doe. And this was the buck that we didn't use. We had another buck that we sold. So we're trying to cycle through our breeding program, our breeding stock, bring some new stock on. And I write about it on the Patreon, so maybe I should just leave it at that. By using warm water, the animals are not burning calories trying to keep warm after drinking cold water. Same thing for food. Anything that eats really quickly, we warm it up, like pigs. We warm up their food and give it to them hot. But animals don't drink a huge amount of water in the winter anyway. They're not up and moving that much. No. If we give them too much water, then it freezes in the bucket, and then we have to break it out. And plastic like this, the bucket will break. Plastic like this, it's bendable. It won't break if we have to break it out, but we have to keep less water in the container so we can get the ice out. The other thing that we do is the smaller containers, like this is a chicken water. We bring it in and let it thaw enough that we can get the ice out. And we just have other containers that we switch out so that we're not having to bunk it against anything and break it. Sock. Alright, you can see it's totally frozen solid, so I gotta pump that whole thing out and we start over. That's why we only put about 3 gallons in at a time. It turned into a solid block of ice. The shelter is important, but not as important as calories. This is organic wheat from a grower in Idaho Falls. It's a very, very good price. Oh, and this is about how much water we can give them. That's 3 gallons. Keeps it. All right, I used old feed sacks as part of the... Hi, Mama. That's Palomino. This looks like it's finally given way. All right, this is their shelter. I made it small and sturdy instead of big and being torn up by the wind. There's their mineral block. There's their special minerals, which they like to poop in. And then this is another hay feeder. I do have some wood chips down, but I wonder if they made Palomino miscarry. Our goat provider, the lady we buy our goats from, said that don't feed your goats Christmas trees because they will clean out, which means that they have a spontaneous abortion. You can see the feed sacks. I used 2 hog panels. It's actually very warm in here. You wouldn't think so, but it is. It's very warm. We did the fabric on the edges again to keep it from tearing. And now I'm on to pigs and ducks and chickens and quail and rabbits. Here is the little chicken run that we have for new babies. And this is where the Muscovies live right now. It gives them somewhere to get out of the snow. It's connected to their coop, and it gives them sunlight. So on really cold days, we just keep them in. We don't let them out. Oh, he's shivering. Okay. Oh, and has their water frozen? No, their water hasn't frozen. I'm going to go get them some more water. And I'm going to go get a shovel. Because they walked back and forth with wet feet, and now they've got an ice buildup here. Okay, so sheep do not require a lot of shelter. They are so well insulated. If you put them in a heated barn, you're gonna kill them. They just get too hot. So we have them in an open shed here. And that is Miss Sweet Pea, and this is Heidi. And they're doing really good. Hi, Mama. Hopefully they're both bred. But they are doing really well. This kind of weather, you really don't want to be out more than about an hour. Why is she out in the weather again? Okay, our other pigs are kind of guarding against our new little pig. You can see she's out here just shivering. They don't want her in the shelter. We've got 2 shelters there. One in the back, one in the front. Both of them full of hay. And this little piggy, she's a little Mangalitsa York cross. I think I'm going to go get more food again. If I can get her more food. Yeah, honey? She's got to have good gear on. Last time she came out without a hat. Alright, so they're doing good. All the shelters are, light proof, so they act a little bit like a greenhouse on a warm day. And then we put their hay in those containers. I'm thinking I might go get one more shelter because we had that other shelter for her, but they're not letting her in it now. And I need to go get more food because they're not. My goodness, you guys are such little brats. Are you shivering? The little one is shivering right there. The little one is shivering. And that one is shivering. So I'm going to go get some more feed for them. But those are calf shelters. We like that they're opaque, translucent, because they let sun in. And you notice we have them butted up against the wind. So this little piggy has frostbite, or a really bad bite mark from the other pigs. And she was shivering outside. Okay, let's leave her alone. It's kind of stressing her. So we turned the table into a cage for the pigs. The 2 smallest pigs were shivering. It was in the teens. It's in the 30s here in the garage. We have the cage attached to the table pen. Just to give them just a little bit more space. All right, this is the chicken coop. I have to put the plastic on a little weird because I have to be able to get this top door to flap up so that I can clean it. So instead of having it really well attached, it is instead kind of loose and flappy. I lift this up onto the door to get in. I'll try and show you. I don't want to show you because it'll get them cold. I wrapped the plastic. There's a layer of plastic underneath, and then this layer of plastic on top. So there's 2 layers of plastic. And then that 2x4 is on it to hold down the flap so that I can take that off and lift the flap up and get into the chicken coop. But the wind can't blow it up. I think that should be the tour. My fingers are freezing. Hopefully that was helpful. That big tote right there, that's organic wheat from a local grower. I was really grateful to get it. We should be able to get through the worst winter months without having to buy more feed, which is a huge blessing. Very grateful for it. And he's a local grower for us that does mixed feed too. So I'll try and put his information. His name's David. I'll try and put his information in the description. The sunrise this morning was amazing. We had what's it called? Fog. We don't get fog here very often. But we got fog last night and it has frosted, hoar frosted everything. This is the mulberry tree. One of the mulberry trees. So it's just magnificent.